Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back. Paint to the Pimp podcast, episode 14 in the building. We are here. So happy that y'all able to be with us for this ride. As always, I'm Dwayne. We got Jay and Omega the Iota in the building. How y'all feeling today?
Feeling great, man.
On my NYYN stuff going on here. You see how I'm doing today.
Tasty as hell.
Representing New York. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Some great NBA topics, some great wrestling topics, and as always, shout outs at the end of every episode. So we're gonna kick it right off. We're gonna kick it right off with Steve Kerr during the All-Star game mentioned that the NBA trade deadline should coincide with the All-Star break. What do you guys think about Steve Kerr saying this? What do you guys think this would mean for team strategies, for player morale, and even fan engagement? Jay, starting off with you, what do you feel about the All-Star break and if it should be moved or not?
I honestly, I was in agreement. I was in agreement just cause, like, I mean, if you look at how this last trade deadline has been handled, it's like people was finding out they was getting traded like mid game from fans, like fans coming up to them, yo, you just got traded, like. You see what just happened? They just standing there like, damn, like I can't even look at my phone. I'm just like, yo. So that is a little, that to me is a little crazy. I understand like it's a business and they set up the league the way they set it up and they gotta make the moves on that specific day. I get it. But I don't think you hurt anybody moving that to when they actually have the break. Like I feel like it's if this is supposed to be like the mid-season reset, then let the deadline coincide with that, right? Like let it just be a full reset all the way through. So when you come into that next week after the break, fresh teams, everybody got who they got, all the deals is done. You ain't gotta like worry about is AD playing this game? Is he actually gonna play? Is he gonna debut tonight? Is he gonna be over here? So I think, I just think morale wise, yeah, that'll be good for the players themselves. I don't really know, like in terms of fan engagement, like how do you decipher that? Like, I mean, I guess it's better, like because, like I said, you're not having to worry about these players going before anything or before before the actual All Star game, right? Because like if they get traded, do they? Never mind. I'm sorry. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't play. They would still play on the respective All Star team they got picked because of the format, right? So that wouldn't even have any play into the game itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if you just line everything up that way, it to me it just better it for the league. Like we got to do what's best for the league. I don't think that like leaving it before the actual break it hurts anything. Like it doesn't do anything for anybody. That's how I
Yeah.
look at it.
No, for sure. I think excuse me, even to just add on to that, I think from a player morale perspective, I just think it makes the most sense, right? Because All-Star break, you get about what, a week off. I
Hmm.
think the last game is usually Thursday before the celebrity game, and then they usually pick back up the following Thursday. And I look at it from like even the Luka Doncic AD thing, right? Like giving Luka that time maybe to just reset and not just say, "Hey," right after the game. Well, the same thing with AD, right? That was right after the Knicks game. So he said he was texting the teammates, congratulating them on playing hard, and then out of nowhere he was traded. So I think we can't like disregard the human element of that, right? And I think if they want to continue to put the best product on the court, I think that's important, right? Worrying about the players' mental, right? Give them, I'm not saying they should be given 2 weeks to figure it out or get over it, but at least that All-Star break week to where they could reset, figure out what they're doing with their family, figure out what they're doing with their kids, get to this new city, not having the 72 hours. I got to be there. I got to be ready for this game. And I got to just, like, even the Dalton Connect thing, right? Went to a team coming
Oh
right back to the Lakers, giving
yeah,
him that time as a rookie to just say, hey, figure it out in terms of getting your mental back right. We're going to give you an extra day or two so that you can be right for this team, right? Because I think a lot of those trades, that's not the stuff that we generally think about, right? we think about the player, but we don't say, damn, he probably got kids that just started school, or his mom probably just got this doctor at this hospital, or his sister
The human
probably just
thing.
got a job here. Like, we don't think about those things as humans. We just go to the, hey, these guys are professional, show up and play basketball. And when you
Mhm.
got these guys who, Dalton Connect is 23, Luka's only 25, 26. Like, we got to remember we was once there, and the challenges that we had on our shoulders mentally, and then you asking these guys to change everything. So I think during the All-Star break would be great, after or right after would be fun, or even like, throwing my imagination out there. What if it was a part of the All Star break segment, the trade deadline? During the All Star break, that Saturday at 8 o'clock is the trade deadline, and all of the players are together figuring out who their new teammates are
Oh
and
shit.
stuff like that. I know that's a reach, I'm just throwing stuff out there, but for sure on the player morale side of it, I think it'll help with them as humans first, and then help with the product. But what you feeling about it? Oh,
Um, hey guys, Megs. So I think that based on what y'all saying, I think that pushing it to the All Star break might hinder them all in a sense because once you push the trade deadline to the All Star game, it makes it so that players are now being traded within a span of the All Star break, and I've seen players getting traded during the All Star game and the effect that it had on them, which was kind of even. It seemed even more so like a throw off for some of them because they're sitting here playing
mm-hmm.
the All Star game. And that's more so thinking about like the level of trades. When it comes to
Yeah,
like not the lower level but role players, I think that will suffice for role players if the trade deadline was pushed back to the All Star game. But if they trade in superstars all willy nilly like this past year, the All Star game isn't fair to them because they could be in the All Star game celebrating a good time and being in good spirits, preparing to get ready and gear up for the next half of the season with their team, and then they get traded randomly. So it's kind of like it's like a double-edged
I
sword.
see what
It's like
yeah,
some good to it, but then there's some terribleness to it, especially when it comes to superstars because those are the main people that we pay to watch anyway. Everybody not coming to the game
yeah, for sure.
when we got James Harden on the floor. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
only said Nicholas Batum because I was just watching the documentary on Netflix. Shout out to that documentary.
that's
Chase.
funny.
But
my man
no
Batum.
shade, Nick. No shade. But that's my biggest.
Nah, that's funny.
That's my biggest like I don't know my indifference of it. Like for regular
Yeah,
players, regular, but like role players, of course, I more of a help for them. But superstars, like for instance, if Luca was traded and he wasn't like barring that he wasn't injured, he of course makes the All Star team, and then he gets traded during the All Star game or during that break. It's like, ooh, that's
yeah,
kind of tough. And then, um, the last game is Thursday. This year they had the first game be Wednesday. That's kind of a little shaky too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
yeah.
like,
I think the Wednesday game was a makeup game though. That
oh,
Charlotte Lakers game was a makeup game, and
Right,
that's
right,
why I
right,
think they
right,
put it on
right.
Wednesday. Yeah,
okay,
From
okay,
the
yeah, yeah.
okay. I didn't know
But
that.
I believe it was that Thursday. Yeah, I believe
So,
they normally do pick it up that following Thursday.
but
So is that like 4 days, 3 days in between the All
yeah.
Star game and they pick back up?
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a little tough. It's a tough world for them, but they get paid for this. They sign the contracts. This is a part of the contracts and things of that nature. Unfortunately, so as much as we want to be, understanding of what they're going through, they signed the contract, and I can't have no empathy towards them when once we thinking about them being millionaires and some billionaires and them signing the contract. They got to be able to make it happen. That's what they get paid the big bucks for. They got to be able to transfer things and find better hospitals for family members and things like that, or kids better schooling and things of that nature. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to be inconsiderate to the professional athlete because that's what they're paid for. Sorry.
yeah. I'm a be completely on the other side of the fence with that. Completely disagree with you on that. I think losing the human element for anybody in life, I think puts us all in a bad situation because we all aspire to be that person that's a little bit more well off financially, doing a little bit more for our family, and able to have access to resources so that we could better our lives and better our community. I think as we start to lose empathy for those type of people, you start seeing that disconnect grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why you start seeing where they say, oh, the wealthy and the higher ups don't have no type of empathy or comparison for anybody that's middle class or lower class. And I think sometimes that puts us in the tricky boat. I understand what you're saying. Like, I understand the aspect of being able to put your big boy pants on or your big girl pants on, get up and handle your responsibilities. But
recognizing the
at the
business.
same, yeah, recognizing the business aspect of it, and only two people in the league got no trade clauses, right? Bradley Beal and LeBron James. So everybody else just kind of got to understand that and deal with that. And I get that to an extent, but I just don't think we should lose that empathy for humans in general, no matter how much money they got, because their problems, we have similar problems to them, just like they have similar problems to us. They come from the same environments that we come from, most of them or some of them, and we just want to make sure we continue that, in my opinion, continue that line of empathy. But Jay, definitely want to give you a chance to respond to that as well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just in the middle about it because I do see what both of y'all saying. I just think that because I'm thinking about like the line of like, how does this affect play performance, right? Like had like Dwayne saying having to basically pick up and go, right? Like you moving everything, like you got to get the kids situated, you got to get your house situated, like you got to get all this behind the scenes stuff that we don't really like consider, and then we think about how does that tie into the NBA performance side of things, on the court things, like practice, like, and then like to what O is saying, um like it's a business, right? Like wouldn't that potentially hurt the NBA product, because it's like, okay, you're taking this guy, you're moving him, he found out he just got traded, now he got to pick up and go, then he basically there's still games to play, but now he's got to find out, figure out his situation, he's out 4 or 5 games, and then we cut straight to the All-Star break, and it's like, damn, well, we could have just did all this during the break and then have a fresh start, and then everyone's good to go, because like, who was it? AD? What did he take? Like, he took a couple games to make his debut, right? I don't know
Yeah, I
how.
think,
It was a
but he
few.
was he was still recovering from injury, so he was going to take that
Mm,
time.
mm.
Same thing with Luca, and that's why I was saying, like, I understand old point of it. Like, I don't have no sympathy if like AD just bought a $30 million mansion in Bel Air and now he got to go to Dallas. Do I have sympathy for that? No. Luca just bought a $25 million mansion in Dallas. Now he got to go to LA. Do I have sympathy for that? Hell no. Like, y'all got the money to do that, so I don't care about that. I was just talking about like that day to day human element of like,
Mhm.
okay, I have these things situated. That's why I said the All-Star break, to where they could get that the 3 days where it's not maybe just a day or two, but give them that extra third day to say, okay, I got to get a few more things situated. Yeah, I think it's a little easy to say go transfer to the best doctors, but damn, if you Luca and you just found out about this trade, you don't even know who the best doctors are in LA yet. Like, you don't know anything about LA. You had no plans on being there to begin with. So I'm just saying that extra day just to figure out those life things that where we all have that common bond of caring for loved ones, maybe figuring out a place to live, figuring out schooling for the kids if you got them, figuring out, getting your loved one, your wife or your husband settled if you have one of those. So I'm just saying those little things of like caring about the everything around the athlete, so that when we see the athlete, we could say, all right, shit, like, I understand life happens, but you got to perform because the NBA tried to help put you in the best situation. But
Mhm.
it's never really no solid answer to that. I would assume, but oh,
Yeah.
definitely want to give you the last word on it
Yeah,
if you had anything else to add or retort.
yeah. It's just tough. It's just tough because
Yeah,
it's just tough. Word, it's tough. I know if I'm an owner, I got to throw away a lot of empathy because
for
that was
sure.
in that spot as an owner. I ain't gonna lie, I got to throw it away. That's what I was thinking of from an owner standpoint. That's what I'm talking like. I'm not talking like from like us. I'm talking like from a business
Yeah,
side. Like when it comes to the business part of
yeah,
the NBA, like um, I don't know. I think it. I think it's. I just don't. It's a tough. That's a tough. Cause You leave it during the All Star break, right? We push it back to the All Star break, the trade deadline, and these people get traded.
Yeah,
Like, we watch DeMarcus Cousins playing the game, and then he's like, "I'm traded." You know what I'm saying? So it's like that.
yeah,
And then you watch like where it seems like if it's before the trade deadline, it seems like everything is kind of rushed. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's the best. Good luck.
It's tough. It's tough
Hey,
either,
good luck.
Nah, for sure. It's tough the other way. It's tough trying to figure these decisions out. It's tough trying to, figure out the relationship with these star players and everything. And I think it's tough. And I also think it helps lead us right into our next topic of, tough news, sad news. We found out since our last pod that Victor Wembanyama will be out for the rest of the season with DVT and
And
also known as a blood clot in his right shoulder. I just want to get you guys' thoughts. I'll kick it off, but just get you guys' thoughts on the future of the Spurs. What does it mean for the Spurs this season, the league's competitive landscape? I know he had major odds to win Defensive Player of the Year, which he can't win now because he won't be eligible. And then the ongoing hype around the potential face of the NBA because his name was coming up. So just kind of to kick it off on my end, first and foremost, prayers to Victor Wembanyama, right? Like again, just going back to sort of what we were speaking about before, that empathy conversation where it's like before I talk basketball, I want to, hope that young man, health, forget just even if he could come back to play basketball. Don't even want to think about that. Just sending, him and his family well wishes. But at the same time, I think just speaking on the Spurs, I think, I think about a De'Aaron Fox at a time like this, right? Just got there hoping to establish something, get some rhythm, get some camaraderie. And now y'all might, y'all might be a lottery team. I believe they own a pick that is supposed to be a high pick. I don't know if it's the Pelicans pick. One of those picks they own. I saw floating around the idea of them taking and trying to get Cooper Flag, similarly to how when David Robinson got injured, they was able to
Yo.
get Tim Duncan. I saw that floating around the internet. That'd be interesting. Cooper Flag on that team. Good God. Ain't nothing like a San Antonio team that's really good. We saw the havoc they could wreak on the league. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it made me really start thinking about that face of the league conversation. I don't know where you guys are going to take it when you're having the discussion, but that conversation has been a popular conversation for a while now. Where I heard some people say, an international player can't be the face of the NBA. Anthony Edwards recently said when they asked him about face of the league, he was like, "That's what the league got Wimby for." So I don't know, man. I think it all depends on when he's able to say that again.
Anthony Edwards is getting on my nerve with that shit.
Yeah, it's just it's like that
Yeah.
that conversation is strange. I do think if there was a conversation to be had, I don't really know who would be the face of the league right now, but I do think that losing Wimby is only going to exacerbate like the ratings decline. He was the big draw. If you was anything in terms of topic, conversation, who's up next, who's going to take over the league. I know we had him like winning the next 5 Defensive Player of the Year awards because he was that good. And it sucks that this wasn't like a sports injury to where we would go back and be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
tweaked ankle, something like that. Somebody landed under him, somebody bumped him. That blood clot thing, we saw what it did to Chris Bosh. Fingers crossed that it won't have the same impact
Mhm.
on Wemby. But I just thought he was going to be that next face of the league if I was betting. I didn't agree with the people that said an international player couldn't be the face of the league. But I would have argued Luca now that Luca's in LA. I think being in LA makes a drastic difference when you talking about face of the league, when you in one of these big markets. So I think now you could put Luca name back into that conversation. But I think it just sucks. I think it sucks all the way around. What are you feeling about the situation or with the Wemby situation and kind of your thoughts, wherever you want to take it?
First thing first, I want to pray for Wimby. That shit
For
sad,
sure. For
sad.
sure.
But as far as like basketball go, I don't even know what to think because I'm really disappointed in this situation. Like it's really, I don't know. I like
Yeah.
basketball a lot, so stuff like that, I don't rock with it. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That's real. That's real.
It's tough. It's
Real
tough,
Hooper
man.
shit.
It's tough.
That's whack.
It's tough when it's not basketball related, man. It's always tough when it's not basketball related.
I can't deal with people tearing their ACL and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even like, nah, that's too much. People are dying left and right of these blood clots traveling up and down their bodies and things of that nature in regular life. So like, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about
Mm-hmm.
that, and he only like 20 years old, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's corny, bro. That's corny, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank God they caught it. You know what I'm saying? Thank God they caught
Hmm.
it.
For sure. For
It
sure.
might, like I was having this conversation with my girl about it, and I was saying like it's about a million people maybe who walking around with a blood clot right now and don't even know it. Don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
He gets regular checkups. People don't get regular checkups.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be
For
told,
sure. For sure.
That's true.
no, I don't
Some
know.
people
It's
ain't
tough.
been to the doctor in like 3
I'm
years.
I'm
Yeah.
bothered. I'm bothered, y'all. Cause that shit not.
100%. 100%. What you thinking on it, Jay?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. That shit is tragic. It just bothers me because, like I said, it it really got nothing to do with sports, right? It just kind of something that happened, and it's like, damn, like you think of a thing like that because like I, I don't even know how to describe it in a way where people can like understand the severity of it because it's like it's so many complications that can arise from undergoing something like that. Like in my experience and my knowledge of like medical terminology and how that stuff works and like what DVT actually is, seeing the stuff that happened to like Chris Bosh, it's just so like it's so demoralizing, right? Like you just like I said, you just didn't get it didn't get it because of basketball or anything, just got it. And it's like, damn, now you got to be extra careful with the guy. Now you got to be more attentive to like what
Mm-hmm.
he's going through or how he's feeling, and it transcends basketball. And it's like you were saying before, Dwayne, like this is a guy like that we had in them face of the league conversations, we had in the defensive conversation, defensive player of the year. So it sucks because I feel like he was one of the few players that everybody was heavy on. Like he's like
Yeah.
that guy that you like, like you can't hate Wemby because he's just him. He comes in, he has a great game, plays the game well. Like
And
he
he
just
plays for the Spurs, you know? You
right.
know what I mean? Like,
So it's like how can you hate a guy like that? He just put his head down, he go to work. He don't do too much. So a player like that, it's like, damn man, like you want him to be one of those top five, top three, top 10 guys. Like you want him to
mm-hmm.
be out there. So it just it just sucks because it's like I was saying before, like we try to think of this stuff in terms of like also the NBA as a business product and like how you advertise that. Now you losing the guy, right? Now this guy's out. You can't really market that guy. You can't really market the Spurs. You can't really market that De'Aaron Fox, Wembanyama little combo right there.
Yeah.
And even when now you're like, ah, damn, now it's just like you were saying, back to Fox. He by himself. He finds himself in another unfortunate
Mm-hmm.
situation. And then, as for the Spurs, what happens? Do they get Cooper Flag? Are they even eligible to be in that arena where they get a top pick? Like, it's so many questions that come up. And this is all because of one player. Like, one
Yeah.
player in a
One
matter
injury.
of,
That's all it
yeah,
takes.
yeah, in a matter of weeks.
That's
So,
that's that's all it
yeah,
takes, man.
I just wonder. I mean, before anything, I hope he's good. I'm gonna pray for him. Hopefully that stuff can be resolved, and then going forward, it's not something that becomes a recurring thing. Because that would suck as well. So I just pray for him. Fuck the league, but in terms of the league,
Yeah, tough.
it's gonna be interesting to see. Because like you said, I don't know if there's any real faces of the league right now. But you did say Luca. That could be what it
Oh,
is.
face of the league is still Braun. Let's be clear. Face of the
Well,
league is
like
still LeBron
future
James.
wise,
Future. Oh, okay. Just
yeah,
just
future wise.
just making sure. Just making sure. Just
That's Bron.
that's still Braun.
That's still
That's
Bron.
still
Yeah.
Braun. That's always gonna be
But
Braun.
yeah, no, future wise for sure. I wonder about that
It's
portion.
Luca.
Just
It ain't no question. It's Luca. Serious? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Yeah.
breathe right now. He posted.
Well,
Yeah. Huh?
It's ESPN Braun and ESPN Luca.
Yeah. No, for sure.
They're sports in
Him
the world right now.
being in LA, him being in LA changes that for sure.
Yeah,
for sure,
hell yeah, hell
Face.
for
yeah.
sure,
He's the
The
for
face.
sure,
advertising gonna be through the
for
roof.
sure. That's why you see like there was a push for Jason Tatum as well. Not to say he didn't deserve, but that's because he's in Boston. Like Jason Tatum on the Wizards, like we wouldn't be having this conversation. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's not to crap on Dallas. Dallas is Dallas, dope organization, right? But faces of the league, bro, you gotta have the talent, you gotta have the marketability, and then you gotta be on one of these teams that can market you to the world that people love. So
The
face of
dollar.
the league is not just a talent thing.
That's
Mhm.
why.
So what Luka's about to do for Lakers and for the league from a business perspective,
That's why it took
forget
Bron
about it.
to take the face of the league, even though he was the best player in Cleveland. That whole time, Kobe
Yeah,
was the face of the league. I don't care
for
what
sure,
Mhm.
nobody.
for
I don't
sure,
care what nobody
for
say.
sure,
Bron didn't become the face of the
for
league
sure.
until about 2012,
Yeah,
2013.
when he got to
Actually,
Miami,
I
That's
want to say
true.
that was
13
the
To the
Miami
Miami
days.
days.
after the ACL injury. That's when he took over. That's when he officially took over.
Hmm.
He had he going on what is it about to be 14, 13 year run in
Yeah,
the league
nah,
officially.
100%.
So it's about time. Kobe had his 13
But see,
amount of time. Say Kobe had the same time, 12, 13 years.
yeah,
Person. Well, let's
Braun was changing economies though, bro. Like Braun changing economies just has to go down in the history books, bro, of like what he did for that Cleveland economy. We don't see that in particular too often. So that's why even from a business standpoint, like he always been that guy, but Kobe was the star for the Lakers, bro. In China, nobody was more popular than Kobe. In America, there was people on his heels, but like I agree with nobody was more popular than Kobe. And popularity matters when we start talking about, faces of the league. But yeah, so we kind of gonna see how that goes. NBA is in a interesting spot right now, second half of the season. We on our way to the
Kobe's still the
finals.
um,
What happened?
Kobe's still the greatest Laker of all time.
Yeah, that ain't, I don't know when or how that would ever change, but if anybody, only person that's worth the argument is Magic, but if anybody else saying anybody else, then we ain't really got nothing to talk about. But NBA, like I was saying, NBA's in a fun spot. We on our road to the finals, on our road to the playoffs. Wishing all of our injured stars, get well, get better soon. We want to see a fun playoff for all of the
quick,
players.
quick shout out to Greg Popovich as well.
Bro,
I heard that news too.
yeah.
Heard that
Oh,
news. So
bro,
you know,
bro, jump into segments. But shout out to Greg Popovich. Well, we hope you get well. Shout out to Greg Popovich. Shout out to the NBA, and we will be right back with our WWE topics.
let's do
Hey, squabble up, hey, squabble up, squabble up, hey.
it.
We are back. Paint to the pit. We had some fun talking about some great NBA topics. Glad y'all kicking it with us. But now let's move over to the
Yeet.
Yeet. Let's move over to the WWE. We had some interesting stuff happening in wrestling since we last was able to kick it on the pod with you guys. We're gonna start off with the most recent. We saw The Rock appear on Friday Night SmackDown with I'm gonna do a blind ranking of top 5 worst WWE entrances of all time. And if this is not number one on everybody's list, I don't have respect for the list. Because God bless The Rock, he's a legend, he's a goat, and I get it. Before y'all kill us, it's New Orleans. They was announcing WrestleMania in New Orleans. He did a little tribute to Lil Wayne. That entrance was terrible,
I
terrible.
Mysterio about to come out.
For real, I was like somebody getting fired because they messed up the Rock's entrance.
Yo,
That's the first thing I said. I said, so somebody getting fired, bro. I can't wait for this news to come out. Somebody getting fired. And then when he just walked out, I said,
Clip.
yo,
this was the truth? But yeah, The Rock
It's
came
the
out,
final boss.
SmackDown, Final Boss. He ran his segment, speaking on that. He wants Cody Rhodes to be his champion. He wants Cody Rhodes' soul, whatever that means. And then, also along in those lines, we saw, since we last potted, we saw Solo come back, and we're seeing the interactions between Solo and Jacob Fatu and, Tamatanga all be weird. So I want to get y'all, first reactions. First off, to starting with you, Jay, what you just felt about that Rock segment and what you think that may mean, and then if you can transition right over to what you was feeling about what's going on with Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, man, it was very very interesting. It just made me feel like it's one of those typical. It felt very like corporate maneuvers. Like everything in there is just like this weird attempt to kind of just make something more than it is, right? Like just trying to build this sort of like story and build some sort of hype for it. I don't even know if the fans even are feeling even want anything like this. It's just weird. Like coming out with that entrance, no one knew what was going on. Then we see the Rock pop out. You're like, all right, we knew about it, but it's like, yeah, right. Like pointing to his arm like 50 times. Like, all right, goosebumps. Yeah, like yo, just doing the most.
And my dumb ass be there looking at his arm like, what is he?
Yeah, like what's going on?
I don't see anything.
And then he take like 30 minutes to get to the ring. He take 30 minutes
Right.
to cut the promo. Like,
Yeah.
so it just man. Oh man. I wanna be into what they got going on and what they're trying to do, but it's just not moving me right now. Like the whole thing with Cody got weird. Like it kind of seems like they're trying to play back into the initial meeting when Cody won the title and they had that little whisper and discussion in the ring. It seems like they're trying to get back to that. It's just like I think everybody forgot about it. I don't think the fans are really as invested as they think they are. So that's why I thought like it just feels like one of them corporate WWE TKO moves where they try and just throw the biggest names in the pot and letting that be the WrestleMania draw. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't really like it. Like telling what he told Cody was just weird to me. Like I don't know if this is some sort of play into trying to make him a heel or just like the corporate guy now. Like I don't know. It was just strange. But telling somebody you want their soul is crazy to me. Like
Boom. Out.
Hmm.
besides that being paused, it's like are we just heading into like a mystical gimmick now? Like what is happening?
Combat, bro. Think soon.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I keep saying it all the time. It's one of those things I got to see play out. I'm gonna just see what happens. I don't think it's gonna be anything of stature that's gonna help anybody. In fact, it might make Cody Rhodes even more mid.
Hear me out. 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 Because I thought about this, right? So now, if the goal is for it to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at Mania,
Janchina.
Rock being somebody that's dangling in the background, given his history with John Cena, may be interesting, right? Now, let's just say they're going Cody CM Punk route. The Rock aligning with Cody and then Punk calling in a favor that may include Roman or somebody. I think there may be a storyline there. So that's the reason that I don't want to turn off this idea. I think it was executed at the beginning trash, but if I go to what I felt was executed at the beginning trash and turned out to be fire in WWE, boy, that's a laundry list of storylines. Well, I thought, like, what are we doing with this? Oh, okay, I get what we're doing with this. So
Mhm.
that's the only thing I wanted to say about that. Like execution for whatever that promo was, I give it like a C. That was just terrible. But I do think that since we do believe it's either going to be Cena or Punk winning the Elimination Chamber, I think having The Rock playing that background role in terms of him being able to have some type of impact on it, I think if executed right, now I don't know what executed right looks like, but that's why they don't pay me to do that. But if executed right, I do think it could be interesting. Definitely want to know what you think about that. Oh, and what you feel about it.
I think the promo was trash. I think the entrance was trash. I think the promo was only trash because
So,
it was so unorthodox. That's how I feel about it. I think it was so unorthodox and so not what we're used to in wrestling in general. Like the whole soul thing kind of just threw everybody off. Once he said that, it made the whole promo go left to everybody mentally. It was like, okay, this is what we doing.
Yeah,
As as far
for
as
sure.
like
The soul thing was nasty.
yeah, the soul thing was crazy. But I think as far as like a builder, I think it did the job. I think it did the job as far as building on to something. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah.
I read somewhere that they may be turning John Cena possibly heel throughout all of this. It's going to somehow change to John Cena being heel, which is what I was hoping for. But the way that would play out would basically be, of course, Cody denies being the so-called corporate champion, and that leads to ultimately John Cena being the corporate champion and turning on
Mm.
and doing the job at WrestleMania. Ultimately, long story short, he does the job. The Rock come out, him and the Rock embrace, kind of like Vince McMahon and Stone Cold in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
similar in a
I
sense.
like that. I like that.
Um,
Okay, I see where you're getting at.
and that could be
Anything that gets the title off Cody.
that'll be the beginning of us hopefully a John Cena heel turn or John Cena with his little heel faction, maybe possibility, because his last run should be memorable, and the only thing he hasn't done has been a heel. I think that's the one thing that would make it the most memorable run if he somehow has a heel run and then ends it off by flipping back face at the end of the whole year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. But I think wrestling is going in a good place because, of course, we have a lot of different thoughts about it. It's a lot of different ways that we are all playing the story in our mind. So I think that wrestling is a is going in a dope place.
That's a good spot to be in.
I
I
think
know, 100%.
I think that even looking at the small things that The Rock is doing, even with every appearance, is I know it's going in a great place because I have multiple people who haven't watched wrestling. Pardon me, since we were about 12, and they're coming to me talking about wrestling storylines in the game and things of that nature. So I think wrestling is in the point where it's changing. And it's changing for the better.
100%. 100%. And like, even with that, like we mentioned, we saw the return of Solo Sikoa since we last potted. Jay, want to kick it back off to you. What do you think about? I know that was a major storyline we was covering. What you thinking about
Yeah,
where we are with Solo Sikoa and Jacob
Man,
Fatu in the new Bloodline?
you know what I mean?
that I'm struggling with just because I don't know, like, kind of to what we're always saying. It's like, you're in a good spot when you could kind of speculate and throw out possible storylines, and you could kind of play around with the potential booking. Like, I just don't know what. Maybe y'all have a better idea. I just don't know what I would do with this whole Jacob Fatu and Solo thing. Like, it seemed like they're trying to slowly make Jacob Fatu his own guy and like the top guy, like more than Solo. But then I'm like, damn, it just sucks that if that was the case, we kind of spent all this time building Solo just to kind of have him fall to the side to like another guy. And it's like, damn, like I get that maybe at this moment it's just that the crowd and the fans is more reactive to Jacob Fatu. So obviously, you just got to go with the fans. But
Nah, you funny.
man, yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I'm just weary of what they're gonna do with that,
like
and my idea would be to see both of them flourish, but it doesn't feel like that in this case. So I don't know
I think that's exactly what they're doing, though, bro. Honest truth. I think that's
what
exactly
to
what
have Jacob be the guy.
are both flourishing. Nah, they both flourishing,
Mm.
bro. I think that's what you just said is what the whole point is of why Solo's talking the way he's talking. Not to cut you off, I think that's why Solo's kind of big up at him and things of that nature because it's gonna build to a bigger moment for them both. You know what I'm saying? Because Solo's already on a high level. He's still dressed in like he's the boss. You know what I'm saying? He coming out there,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but you got to pay attention to the coloring. He was always wearing black. Now it's the white suit. You got to pay attention to the coloring and things
Mhm.
like that. Also, I think it's all to build up Jacob a little bit more to Solo level because Solo's the guy still. I'm not gonna lie, but it's to give Jacob a better a better basis so that when these do if they do fight or whatever happens, it's a bigger
Okay.
moment than oh yeah, this is what we expected as WWE fans. We've been told y'all to make Jacob that guy. Nah, it'll be Solo is like Solo's basically playing the mind games right now.
Hmm.
He's veteran of the whole situation, whereas he acting like he just playing the field because you know what I'm saying. He let them down, so he's just playing the field. He's still the tribal chief in his mind. He's just playing the field though and trying to figure out his way to correct. That's what I think personally.
New tribal chief.
Yeah.
I mess with Solo. I like Solo now. I like Solo 130.
Nah. 100%. I think my mind goes to like 1,000 different places when I think of like what they could be doing with this storyline, right? So one, the first place is the obvious place, maybe building up to them as a one-on-one, which I think I think that's ultimately going to happen. You see that throughout this entire bloodline fiasco, like Roman done fought Jay, Roman done fought Jimmy, Jimmy done fought Jay, Solo done fought Roman. So I think eventually we will see that Solo versus Jacob Fatu match. I don't know how quick that would be. But also it makes me think like, all right, bear with me for a second because it's like it makes my mind goes to like the Marvel world, right? So you have over here somebody's building the young Avengers, and then you have over here these Avengers, and then at a certain point, all of these guys are gonna come back together. I do see all of these guys coming back together. Maybe it's Cody teams up with The Rock, and Solo and Nolan was really The Rock's minions all of this time. Maybe that comes about. Maybe on the other end, if it's Cody versus Punk and Cody sees that, oh, these guys are with The Rock too. All right, let me call in Roman and let me call in those back up. Like, like maybe it could go to all of those different places. But I do think it's interesting. I'm enjoying it because I don't know where it's going. And I love storylines where I don't know where they're going, especially in WWE. I love those storylines, but it's like,
which is rare.
why y'all wasting my time? And then out of nowhere we go, boom, oh, this is why y'all was wasting my time. So I'm excited to see kind of that continue to play out and to see where that goes. And I think this helps transition us right to our next topic since we on our road to Mania, a topic that I do want to kick off with you, O. I was thinking, right, and this made me kind of think about this topic, right? So you have Jey Uso and you had Charlotte Flair win the Rumble. Obviously, we know Jey Uso gonna go off to fight Gunther, and we know Charlotte Flair is going to go off to fight Tiffany Stratton, both at Mania. One, I want to know, do you agree with these choices? But two, I want to know, I know we kind of touched on this briefly, but not as a big topic. What do you feel about the Royal Rumble winners choosing the least of the two popular champions to go off and fight at Mania? So when I say least of the two popular, obviously Cody Rhodes is bigger than Gunther, and obviously Rhea Ripley is bigger than Tiffany Stratton.
Mm.
So that's what I mean when I say bigger of the two champions. Popularity, like attachment to a fan base, like marketability, all of those things. So what do you feel about that being the case and them choosing that the Royal Rumble main event winners going to fight the two of the less popular champions?
I think Triple H did the right thing, making that the decision for them to go fight the quote unquote less popular champions. Because for Tiffany Stratton, I think she's gonna win I think she's gonna win at WrestleMania. Being honest with you, because she needs that moment to where it solidifies her. Nia Jackson, things of that nature is cool, but she need a moment where she gets solidified. Charlotte Flair is willing to give it to her. You know what I'm saying? Willing to give her that moment where she's solidified and she can sit there and bask in the moment of beating Charlotte Flair, the quote unquote GOAT at WrestleMania. Because Charlotte Flair is a SummerSlam person anyway.
And SummerSlam will be in
That's how,
MetLife Stadium this year
so
in
by
New Jersey.
SummerSlam,
Yeah.
we will be taking Rhea Ripley's belt. By SummerSlam. We taking
Mm.
that belt. You feel me? This is just a little moment. That's what's going on here to give Tiffany Stratton the time to build herself up to a different level. That's what's going on there as far as that belt. And as far as Jey Uso, I think as far with Jey Uso, I think it's a moment for him to build himself up and give him a chance to see what it looks like with him as champion. See what it looks like, see what it feels like, see how people grasp the idea of him possibly being champion. Because I wholeheartedly don't see him losing whatsoever. If he lose, we riot
Yeah, I
Yo,
think
too much.
the interesting thing about like the Jey Uso thing
Hmm.
is like I think we're gonna appreciate him more as the chaser than we are gonna appreciate him as the hunted.
That's what they. That's
mm,
the.
So
That's why they.
mhm.
yeah, we going yeah. So I know he's gonna have the WrestleMania moment and the yeeting that's gonna happen when he beats Gunther and wins that belt. He rightfully deserves it. My immediate thought goes to what next
Oh,
because when my mind is I care more about you being a hunter than the hunted. Like that matters. Like we have to want to still be invested in you once you have the championship belt. And again, I don't have any reason to feel like people won't be. I still will be. I'm gonna be there on my bed or wherever I'm at, WrestleMania day one. It's just me. Ooh, because I do think he's going over too. But I just think about with him, what's next, and then in terms of the popular champions, I think that's rough, right? Because like I think the Jey Uso one makes sense because you don't want to have that much conflicting crowd energy when you really got the two most over people in the WWE right now in terms of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. I don't think you kind of want that to be conflicting. I don't think that make too much sense from a business perspective. And plus I don't think the story is there for them. Like you would have to immediately turn one of them heel, which I don't think makes sense financially. So I think that one makes sense. The Charlotte Flair one, I know we spoke about extensively on the pod before, so I won't spend too much time covering why I felt like it should be Rhea. But like I said, I do think, it's going to be a great match. And I do agree with Tiffany needs the spot. And I do agree with that Tiffany's going to win, right? I think Jay's going to win. I think Tiffany's going to win. I don't see a world where Cody loses. And who's the other champion? We don't even know who Rhea Ripley's fighting, but it's going to be from this chamber match.
The
So
chamber, yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. And again, I repeat, I don't see the world where Cody loses at Mania. I personally don't see
I
that
think
world.
I pray that he loses, but my bias is really
I'll pray that he loses.
like
Yeah,
my unbiased feeling is that he loses only because he been a little stale.
yeah. But my thing is like, it's one thing to go into WrestleMania as the hunter and win. It's another thing to go in as the hunted and win. And I think to really solidify that run, although we don't feel like it was the best to begin with, but to solidify that run, I do think a Mania
We do.
win with him as champion matters. I
That's
think the way we looked at it optically, even the same with Roman. Roman winning, beating Cody in that first match, we looked at that completely different. Now we like, whoa,
Right,
whoa,
right.
because everything said you were supposed to lose this match, Roman. Everything said you were supposed to lose this match, and you won it. I do think it's something there where retaining your belt at WrestleMania does heighten your stock, even if it's just a little bit. What you feeling about this topic?
Yeah, I have so many thoughts, so many conflicting thoughts, just because it's like, I feel like we're nearing that, the idea of like WWE keeps finding themselves in these weird spots, right? Because it's like, again, you have one of the most over characters in Jey Uso. You can't make him challenge for the undisputed title because you also have one of the most over characters in Cody Rhodes. So your only option is like you're stuck. You gotta give him the world title opportunity. You gotta make him win. You gotta give him his WrestleMania moment because we all know what's coming. Everybody wants to do the yeet in the crowd. He's probably gonna jump in the crowd, go crazy with the title, just like Eddie Guerrero did when he beat Brock Lesnar. Like we're probably gonna get that moment.
as we
But
should.
yeah, no, of course, yeah. Like we the crowd deserves that. But to what y'all was saying, like it's sort of like the same thing with Roman and Cody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cody, we kind of like this run of him going and chasing this title against Roman, but now that he has it, we're like, all right, what now?
Yeah,
Now we looking at him as just completely dead, which I mean could have been expected, but that's a whole other combo.
for sure.
But yeah, I'm in the same realm. I just think about like, okay, you get the title, what? How do you book that? And then it's either the other question, right? Like we've been so worried about this world heavyweight title standing on its own. It's like, okay, what do you do with that title? Like, how do you continue to book that and keep it as a title that can rival the undisputed title? So it just, yeah, I know it's gonna happen. I know Jay's gonna win. I love it. I'm excited for that. But it just the after effects and what you do for this next year. I wonder about that part too. The same thing with in the Tiffany Stratton room. Like I don't know how that match is gonna go. To be honest, if it goes either way, it's not gonna shock me. I do think that Tiffany needs the win there, but I'm also like if Charlotte gets it, it just seems like they just trying to add more, to her career. Make her more solidified Hall of
Yeah,
Famer.
you
Yeah.
can't solidify her no more though. That's why I don't
Yeah.
mind Tiffany winning. There's nothing you could do for Charlotte Flair to make me go. She went from
right,
the
right.
she went from the quote to the quote quote. You know what I mean? So it's like
It's a
that's why
step
it
up.
gets tricky. It's tricky when those type
Yeah.
of people stick around in the WWE. That's why I
Mhm.
was saying when we was on Xbox the other day. That's why I was like, yo, I'm not surprised. Like I don't expect to see Roman in any of the major storylines
Yeah.
every week or every other week no more. He's done what he was supposed to do. So
Hmm.
him coming back every 3-4 months now, I expect that. I don't
Hmm.
get mad at it. I'm not gonna be one of those fans that's like, damn, tribal chief, tribal chief. No, he set the stage for everything that we see happening in the WWE right now. Literally, he set the stage for it in
So,
terms of the men's side of the main event thing. So like with those guys, same thing with Charlotte. Like I know Charlotte came back, her love for wrestling and all of that stuff. Charlotte's ready to go, bro. There's nothing more she can do
Hmm.
to solidify except for helping bring the next generation over the Tiffany Strattons and start working with them and have a great promo run and have a great match. But now we start looking at Tiffany in the ways that, like a few years ago, we started looking at Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley. When we start going, oh, okay, you in that category
Hey,
now,
up next.
okay?
Yeah.
You got the 4 horsewomen, and then right up next, up under them was the Bianca Belairs and the Rhea Ripleys, and I think Tiffany Stratton is the next one, like fighting on that door to get to that to get to that tier. And I think a win there would do that for her. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. And I think Jey Uso is gonna win, but it also makes me think about like how disappointing that they planned for this Gunther title run, right? I'm so disappointed with how they planned for this Gunther title run because everything was so much revolving around Cody's belt that you didn't split it up. You didn't split the talent enough to where we cared about those Gunther matches. Like everything was around the Cody belt, whether it was Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, who are the three best people that I would argue at putting people over. So you're not even giving them to Gunther. And then
Right.
obviously you got Roman and Seth and CM Punk and all of those guys are, care about that Cody belt or somewhere in that storyline. So you ain't put none of the bigger matchmakers, the bigger people that getting people over, the bigger attractions. You gave none of those guys to Gunther except for Jey Uso. So I think WWE felt him in that realm, but you
Hmm.
know, what can you do?
Completely agree.
Every storyline can't be perfect. So what
Yeah.
can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do?
True.
But
That's
with
true.
that being said, we do have to move on. We finishing up, wrapping up episode 14, Paint to the Pit. I do since, Toronto this upcoming Saturday will have the Elimination Chamber where The Rock confirmed he will be present. But I do just want to get y'all thoughts on these Elimination Chamber matches and get y'all predictions. So just, y'all prediction and maybe a sentence or two as to why. Starting with you. I'm going to start with you here. Elimination Chamber prediction. So that men's Elimination Chamber match where the winner will more than likely go on to fight Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. We got John Cena versus CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul versus Damian Priest.
the first two names is the match: John Cena
Now
versus.
I gotta say it for the people, bro. I ain't saying it for me. I know who's in it.
What's that? Flick.
I'm saying forget the rest of them. I need that. We
It's
gotta
not.
act like our fans don't know yet, which I'm sure they should. But yeah, who you got winning that men's elimination chamber? Excuse me.
Um, I'm gonna go with John Cena because he the goat.
You can go with John Cena. All right, Jay, who you got in that match?
Yeah, I think you gotta go to Cena. This one just that I feel like the writing on the wall there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Punk.
Can't
I
think.
think I think Punk. I think Punk and Cody makes more sense. I think it makes for a bigger WrestleMania match. But most importantly, I think it makes for a better WrestleMania build-up. And I think that's important too. Unless you're gonna convince me that John Cena is gonna come back around and do his cutthroat promos like he used to do when he came back around. If we're gonna get this happy-go-lucky version of John Cena, I don't want to see that, bro. And that's why I'm
Cena.
picking CM Punk. Like the weird reactions to things when they happen, the overselling, the over exaggeration. Now, if we're gonna get that John Cena that when he came back and cut those promos against Roman and against Austin Theory and guys like that, where you go, oh yeah, he's still talking to these guys. Cool. I don't want that happy go lucky stuff, but we'll see. we'll see. And I also think it makes sense because I do think they keep teasing us about this Paul Heyman favor. I think this will be the time to do it
Mm.
with CM Punk and him on the road to WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes, whatever that favor looks like. But I definitely understand y'all John Cena point, not saying that y'all bugging with that. Like, and I agree with O on the intro. I don't think anybody else in this match has a chance, but it should be a great match. Moving on to the women's elimination chamber, starting with you, Jay. We got Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair,
Mhm.
Bailey, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez. Who you got winning that match?
Not gonna lie, I'm confused about this one. I don't know. I really don't know which way they're gonna take it because I mean the who the biggest names here really? Bianca, Liv, maybe Roxanne, but I don't know. The Roxanne would probably be like the dark horse or the surprise. That would mean that they really trying to push Roxanne. But
Alexa Bliss got a name too. I debate you on that.
yeah,
I don't think
that's true.
Alexa Bliss is just a no name.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My thought process is just is too soon for her. Like her immediately winning the chamber and just being right back into the title hunt. I don't know that
I
would
think
strike me as being weird. It's not wrong with it. It just
Wait,
surprised
what
me.
you said? Oh, I
that's,
didn't hear
that's,
what O said at all.
I think that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Just throw
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss
Right
right
back.
back in there.
But
Yeah,
who you
because I
got in that
mean,
match, Jay?
I'm taking Roxanne, man. Fuck it.
Taking
I'm
Roxanne
taking
Perez.
Roxanne.
Cool,
Fuck
cool. Who you? Oh,
Morgan, right back to it.
it. He
Liv
said Liv
Morgan.
Morgan.
Okay.
You don't think she got too many chances?
Nah, gonna use her to build up the YA6 real fast.
Mm.
Mm.
They struggling, and I heard that they about to eliminate Uncle Howdy. They about to WWE.
Really?
Mm.
They about the next one? Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm
Right
gonna
back.
go Bianca. I'm gonna go Bianca for this one. I think Bianca will win it. Just trying to, find a reason to play devil's advocate. But I
Mm.
think Bianca will win it. I do think at some point this Jade storyline gonna resurface and show itself at the most surprising moments. So maybe the Elimination Chamber would be one, or maybe WrestleMania would be another one where people would think Jade came back to help Bianca win, and then she just beat up Bianca or something like that. So
Mm.
I do think for storyline purposes, I could see Bianca winning, but that wouldn't surprise me if Alexa Bliss wins. If Liv Morgan wins, I promise you, I'm not watching that match at WrestleMania. I promise I'm not watching that shit. If
Yeah.
you gonna tell me we ain't want to see another Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and then try to convince me that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania makes sense, hell no.
It
Oh
better
my
be a lot.
god.
Hell no.
It better
They
be a lot.
shoving that feud, yo.
I'm tired of that match.
We force
The
fed that
next
feud, man.
the next one, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn unsanctioned match. I'll go first. I think Kevin has to win this one. I think it only makes sense if he wins it. The feud is too new and too fresh for him not to win it. And I think this is just a build up for one of maybe a couple more matches, including maybe a WrestleMania match that we're gonna get where Sammy might win. But I'm gonna pick Kevin for this one. What you feeling? Oh,
Mm.
I'm gonna agree with you because the build up to that has been kind of like you said, a little shaky. And Kevin Owens just got he just had a major loss, but then again, both of them have. I'm gonna just go with Kevin.
yeah.
That's it.
All right. What you feeling about it, Jay?
I'm a little pissed off with that match. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that should have been the WrestleMania match. I don't know. I like the history with them too. Um, I'm definitely going Kevin, but I think this match should have got saved for WrestleMania
What
because
type of match is it?
I'm saying,
Unsanctioned.
It's gonna go no contest. They're gonna have another match at WrestleMania.
I could see that too.
Yeah, no
Makes
contest.
sense.
just like they just throw each other off like a 40-foot
Fuck each
skyscraper.
Yeah. And the final match, which feels like a throwing match, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I think that's just a business match
Yeah,
where Tiffany and Trisha,
something to fill the
will win
card.
that match for. Yeah, I don't know.
Nia
Maybe
Jax gonna
Trish
sit on everybody.
Trish do another one of those trash heel turns and beat up Tiffany and align with Charlotte. I don't know, but that match seemed like a waste. But I do think Tiffany and Trish will win it.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same. The
always
same.
remember, nothing is a waste in Triple H's WWE. Something gonna happen.
Something gonna get
Oh
done.
well, we shall see because that Gunther title run's feeling like a waste. But shout out to Triple H. Shout out to Elimination Chamber next Saturday, Toronto. That should be fun. We'll be right back to you guys next Sunday to talk about that. But before we get out of here, as we always do, shout outs from the paint to the pit. So I'll jump in here first. Shout outs that I want to give from the paint, from the NBA. You know, of course, I gotta go. My guy, Luka Doncic, man, right after
Uh-huh.
last night, finally showing up and showing out against the Nuggets, a team that we always struggle to beat, struggle to play against. So that was good to see. From the wrestling side of things, who would I like to shout out from the wrestling side of things? Trying to think, trying to you know what? I do want to shout out. I want to shout out that entire show that they got, Legends and Future Greats.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a couple clips
Mm-hmm.
of it, but the clips look great. I am
It's
gonna
looking
watch
cool.
an episode of it, but when you attach, a guy like the Undertaker to anything, it heightens the credibility. And of course, you got Bubba, Booker, and Mickey James on there. So I'm interested to kind of see that show play out. Kind of watch to see a star from that point be groomed all the way up to potentially being on the full roster. So I'm excited about that. But paint to the pit. What's your shout outs looking like for this week?
I want to shout out. I want to shout out Paint to the Pit because we doing our.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we out. And then,
Outside.
for WWE because I don't want to say nothing for basketball, but for WWE, I'm gonna shout out Michelle McCool just to get on Dwayne nerves, making it to the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, you an asshole.
I know y'all couldn't, but y'all can see his reaction, how he looked. He was looking one way, then when I said he started looking a different way. WWE Hall of Famer, we're here. We're here.
Yo, Dwayne, we gotta ask him the question real quick. What's Michelle McCool finisher? What's her theme music?
Yeah, what's her finishing move? Oh,
The big boot.
sing her theme music right now. Go.
That booty thing.
Yeah.
Nah, but here, all jokes
Oh
aside, and I
man.
mean, shout out, Michelle McCool, man. Like,
Word. Word.
yeah. What you go ahead, Jay? What you? Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta be dead, man.
Yeah, we listen. We gonna be big. Paint to the pig gonna be big, man. And when we have to meet Undertaker, I don't want to have to explain myself. So you ain't
No
gonna
smoke,
lie. Me
man.
ain't scared to talk shit to Cody Rhodes because that's all character related. That's not about him as a person. But I ain't me Undertaker be like, man, I called your wife mid, dog.
My
Nope.
fault.
Shout
Just
out,
6'8".
shout
Just
out.
a quick shout out to my boy Paolo Banchero. Just
Mm,
regular real hooper shit. Just always cooking. I've
mm,
been watching his last couple games. He's balling. On the
real Blue
WWE
Devil.
side, yo, Street Profits. Street Profits. I like where the Street
Mm,
Profits is going. I like this little heel thing they got going on, jumping people.
That,
Um,
that,
hopefully the tag titles is in there about to hit.
like
I
power.
think they need that. Shout out to the streets.
Shout out to the streets. That's funny as hell. Shout out to the streets, man. The
Yeah.
streets is really doing it. You know what I
They
mean?
doing it.
The streets, but yeah, no, great time. Like I said, we will be back to you guys next Sunday just to break down the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking forward to talking to you guys next week. Episode 14, Paint to the Pit. We are yeet.
You
We are out of here.
No yeet.